Thanks, Cindy. Rich will be working out of the Competent Communications Manual on a segment called Get to the Point. And what he has to do is to prepare a speech that has a clear general purpose to inform, persuade, entertain, or inspire, and a specific purpose, and it's to be organized in a manner that best achieves those particular purposes. And it's 5 to 7 minutes, and we look forward to seeing what he's got.
All right, thank you. Our next speaker is Rich Briner. He's won 3 teaching awards at UGF. However, this morning, he's here to tell us about his worst teaching experience and what he learned from it. Speaking on Educating with Love, Rich Briner. Educating with Love.
Raise your hand if you've ever been in a college course where you were allowed to grade yourself. 2. Raise your hand if you ever had a college class that met in your dorm room. Funny. In the 3rd year that I was teaching at Kent State University, the basic public speaking course, I loved teaching the class. I was guided to how I should teach the class by a supervisor. And he would come periodically and visit our classes and comment on how we were doing, following the guidelines that he set up. They were great. One day I was walking through the bookstore and I saw this book called To Educate with Love. It was a hardback book. It was one of those books that cost like $22. You pick it up and you think, oh, I can get by in life without paying $22. And back then it was in the 70s. I bought the book because I loved teaching and I thought anything I could learn about it would be great. I read the whole book, underlined it. This was a psychology professor who taught graduate students, and he graded themselves, and he had them come to evenings at the dinner at the professor's house, and it was really a neat deal. I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this in my speech class, but I'm not going to tell my supervisor, Dr. Gordon, because I might get in trouble for doing this. So I started to design the course. We met in the dorm room of one of the girls. This was before cell phones. I told them the first day, you're going to be grading yourself in this class. Well, about 2 weeks into the course, I'm up there talking, standing over in the corner, and people kept going to the bathroom, coming in and out, all the noise. Finally, there's a phone call. Susie, this is Janie, but I'm in the middle of my class, and I can't talk to you right now. You know, interruptions. The following week, Dr. Gordon appeared for his visit, and I gave him directions on how to get to this girl's dorm room on the 3rd floor. He shows up. About 2/3 of the kids showed up. You know, not a lot of attendance because after all, I get to grade myself. Dr. Gordon did not really like what was happening, but he let me continue it. At the end of the semester, it was awful. There were 20 students in the class. There were 19 A's. One student gave himself a B. He happened to be the most outstanding person who'd been there all the time, who did all the things. He should have had the A. It was a disaster. Dr. Gordon, afterwards, he said, well, Rich, what did you learn from this? I want you to write something about this. And so I went back and looked at the book, and I realized that the class was designed in the book for graduate students who were psychology counseling would-be counselors, and that they were committed to this program. They could grade themselves. It did work very effectively with these more mature students who were focused on a career, whereas me, with the students freshman students in a dorm and grading them. It just did not work. Well, I was walking out of Dr. Gordon's office and I saw on the bulletin board there was this, it says Doctoral Honors Seminar. Write a paper and send it and see what happens. And so I went to one of my professors and I said, I'm going to write up this disaster. And I went to a second professor and he organized it, helped me put it into 10 rules not to do when you teach speech, when you educate with love. I sent it off. 2 months later, it came back a letter that said, congratulations, you've been accepted to present your paper at the Doctoral Honors Seminar at the University of Kansas. Good job. And so the graduate school gave me some money to fly out there. And it was awesome to be able to be amongst 12 doctoral students. They didn't have their PhD yet, but they were committed like I was to just loving teaching and loving how can we get the ideas across more effectively. It was quite a deal. And it was an instance where my love of what I was doing was so passionate that I wanted to go beyond I wanted to learn more. I wanted to try new things. I wanted to see what works and test it out myself. What turned out to be, there is a point to this. The point is, don't let the good get in the way of the best. The good was how Dr. Gordon had showed us how to teach the speech class, and yet I was restless. I wanted to learn more, and so I tried something new, and I tried to make the good better. When you try not to let the good get in the way of the best, sometimes it ain't gonna work so well. So we have to be willing to risk, to persevere, if we want to be the Olympians of teaching.
Rich, that's a great story. Thank you so much for that advice. It's a great example in trying to do something new, but then also in that it didn't turn out so well, but it did turn out well. But perhaps the moral of the story is to read the end of the book before you implement. Once again, fill out these pages in front of you to give our speakers encouragement.